All right, welcome to the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Today we're going to be talking about sales funnels. Now, this is an incredibly important topic. Sales funnels are how you get clients. They're how you bring people into your business, how you get people, how you generate revenue, how you make your business flow and run. And yet, so many times when I'm coaching a new entrepreneur, when I'm working with somebody that's just getting started, this is something that they kind of shy away from because they feel like, oh, that's all that marketing stuff. That's all that techie stuff. That's all that salesy stuff. I don't know. This sounds like a lot. It sounds complicated. It sounds hard. And so they pull away from it, which is really sad because this is the lifeblood of your business. This is how you're going to make it work. This is how you're going to get this thing off the ground and make it run. And so we need to talk about this. We need to have a conversation about this and discuss how can you do this? How can you make this work for you? How can you be successful with it? And the reality is that this isn't salesy. This doesn't need to be pushy. This doesn't need to be anything like that. It simply needs to be effective. And you just need to be able to take people through a journey, because here's the truth, is that we all just want people to become our clients, right? But here's the truth is, nobody just up and decides out of the blue, hey, I want to give you money. I want to be your client. No, there's a journey that they go through. There's a process that they go through. There are steps that they go through before they're ready to say yes. And creating a sales funnel is how they're going to walk through those steps with you. It's how they're going to go through that decision-making process. You think about when you go and buy a new car, you don't just go walk up to a car dealership and say, hey, I need a car. He goes, all right, here's one. He goes, great, here's some money. No. What you do is you go through a journey. You figure out, well, what kind of car do I want? What is my budget? What am I looking for in the car? What am I, what's important to me? What would I like? But, I would like to have these things if I can, but if I don't get them, it's not that big of a deal. Where is that line? And then then you kind of define, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? Then you go through the shopping process and you start looking at all these different cars, and you start going through all these different things, and you sit in the cars. Maybe you take a few out for a test drive and you're like, no, that's not quite it. A couple years ago when we were looking for another car for my wife, we went down to a car show, and I was jokingly the guy with the purse in his hand. I was standing there watching her sit in car after car after car, going through all these different things. And I was basically just sitting there, watching her test all of these things, going through and watching her sit in all these different vehicles. And she would sit in them and go and look at them and say, no, that's not it. No, I like this one, but oh, that's just way too much money. Or I like that one, but yeah, I don't like these things about it. I don't like how the seats are. I don't like how that is. And suddenly, and I'm like going, okay, I'm just walking around carrying the bag, and just kind of like I would throw a comment in every once in a while, like, no, this is for me, not for you. I'm like, okay. So I've just kind of, being the tour guide here while we walk around. And then suddenly she sits in this one car, and all of a sudden I look over and I see this look on her face. I'm going, uh-oh, I think we just found our car, because she all of a sudden had that look on her face. This is it. This is the one that checks all the boxes. And now we were ready to go to the dealership and make a purchase. You see, there's a journey to making a sale. There's a journey that we get comfortable with in our buying patterns. We have to get through a certain level of steps before we're ready to say yes. People aren't just going to come up to you and say, here's a stack of money, I would like to give it to you and buy something from you. No, that's not how it works, which is why we have to learn how to properly set up and run a sales funnel, because it walks people through that buying process. It walks people from the thinking about it and considering to the evaluating to the deciding. And those are the steps that we have to be able to help people with. This is how we get people to go from prospect to customer. So this is something that we have to get our hands around. We have to get an understanding of if we're really going to make this work. Now, the problem with many entrepreneurs is they try and sell their stuff too quick. They just want to go, I just want the sale. Like, I get it. And, here it is. This is what it is. And your product forwards and backwards. This is the one you want. This is what you need here. But you're not letting the buyer walk the pathway. You're not letting the buyer go through the thing. And that's like just putting things on your website. Well, here it is. Here's the program. Okay. You made it easy to get to buy, but you didn't do all the legwork to answer all the questions as to why it's the right program for them. You didn't go through all the process to let them know why this is the right fit for them, why they should be doing this, because it's the good answer for their situation. It's the right thing that's going to help them solve their problem or help them get the result that they're trying to achieve. When you walk them through that, and again, there are 3 steps, 3 stages throughout all this. The first one is awareness. And awareness has a couple different levels to it. One is there may be a lack of awareness that they even need help. There are many times in life where I've met people where you look at them and go, oh God, you need help in this area of your life. And they're blind to it. I'm fine. I don't have an issue. And one of the things I've often used is, someone who has a drinking problem. Is someone who likes to, drink a little too much, and it's becoming an issue, and you can see it in their life. As an outsider, you're looking at their life going, dude, stop. You need to get some help. You need to get somebody to help you. And they're like, I got it. It's fine. I don't need anybody. I don't need any help. Okay. All the rest of us see it. But you see, this is a person whose awareness hasn't even hit the level of understanding that they need help. So the first step of awareness is that you have to help somebody make sure they understand, like, you know what, where you're at in life right now isn't a great place to be. And you may think you're fine, but the people around you, your family, your loved ones, they're going to disagree because they're seeing you come home inebriated, kicking the dog, yelling at them, fighting with everybody, being miserable. Your boss is unhappy with you because you're showing up hungover for work. All of these things. It's not okay. It's not good. And so there's this first level of awareness where you got to help them make sure that they understand it's not okay. Where they're at is not okay. They need to understand they have a problem that they need to solve. They need to get this fixed. They need to do something here, or another way of looking at it is the problem, all the little projects around if you own a home or have a place where you live, and you have all these little things that need fixing, and you've been walking past them, like the leaky faucet or the whatever, and you're like, yeah, I need to fix that. Yeah, I need to deal with that. I mean, we all have those little projects, like, yeah, I need to deal with that. But you walk past it because it hasn't hit that level of awareness where you're like, no, I need to get this dealt with. This needs to be done. I need to deal with this and I need to get it fixed because it's now important. It's something there. So that's the first level of awareness. The second level of awareness is they need to understand who you are and how you can help them solve the problem. Once they get to that point where they're like, yeah, I acknowledge this is a problem. I need to deal with it. I need to make the effort. I need to fix this. This is something that's now a priority for me. Now, who can do it? Who can help me solve this problem? And in most things where we're dealing with coaching or course sales or training or things like that, we need to get some help. We need somebody else that can step in and help us solve this problem. So now they're looking at you going, are you the person? Can you help me? Can you do that? So there needs to be this awareness part of this where they learn about who you are, learn about what your skills are, learn about your experiences, and learn that, oh, wait a minute, I think you might be able to help me. You sound like a person that actually knows how to solve this. You're a person who actually can do that. And then the next level of the journey is engagement. Now they're aware of who you are. They're aware that they have a problem, and they're like, okay, yeah, I need to fix this thing. I need to do this. I'm aware of all those things. So now they're like evaluating you. They're engaging with you. They're trying to understand, is this the right person to help me? Is this the one that I should be buying from? Is this the person I should be working with to help me solve this? Or do I need to keep looking? You know, my son this week is out looking for apartments. He's looking for a place to go to move out and live on his own. And he went to a certain apartment and he thought, well, this could be it. This could be the one. Then he met with the people and he just got a really bad vibe from them. And he was like, no, they're not the one. They're not the ones that I want to be renting from. And so the engagement part, where he was evaluating, where he was talking to them, where he was engaging with them, went not so great. And so he didn't, the trust building didn't happen. He didn't feel that they were trustworthy. He didn't feel that they were there. So he stopped. He didn't continue any further. He did not go any further in the buying process because, you know, he became aware. He was aware that he needs to find his own place to live. He was aware that they had a place for rent. But then when he went to the engagement part, where he was starting to talk with them and meet with them and have conversations with them, he realized they're not the right people to buy from. They're not the right people to be leasing an apartment from. And we all have those moments. So there's this second level, which is that engagement where you're providing value to them. You're showing your expertise. You're showing what you can do, and you're building trust. So much of that is so important. Building trust is absolutely critical to your success. If somebody comes away and they feel like, yeah, I don't know that I can trust this person. Look, it's a hard road to get that back. If they become convinced that you're not going to deliver on things, it's hard to get that back. You know, I have people that I follow in the online marketing world who are very good marketers, are very good. And I have one in particular who I was, you know, following. I bought some of his things over the last few years. And I finally got to the point I bought I joined a workshop or two of his. I did these. And the reality is he made all these promises in the sales process, made all these promises about what he could deliver and what he could do. But the delivery wasn't there. When I went through the workshop, when I went through the training, when I went through the thing that I bought, it didn't deliver on half of what he promised. The things that I was really buying it for, the things I really wanted it for, they didn't show up. They weren't there. And I was very frustrated. And what ended up happening was he broke trust with me. And as a result, I've never bought another thing from him, and I have no intention of ever buying another thing from him because trust wasn't there anymore. It's gone. He broke it because he didn't give and deliver on what he said he was going to. He made lots of promises in the marketing, and then when it came time to deliver, about 50%. 50% of what he promised was actually there. And so this, and then when you get to that next, so again, let's go through our steps. First one is awareness. Again, becoming aware of your problem and becoming aware of you as a provider. Engagement, which is okay, let's research this a little bit more and figure out whether or not you're the right person. And then if that goes well, the last step of it is conversion. You see, so many times we get all wrapped up in I got to sell them. Honestly, the actual sale part is about 15% of the process. It's the last part. It's the part that takes up the smallest percentage because all of the stuff before it has decided whether or not the last part is going to happen. If you have a good relationship with people, if they look at you and say, wow, you really can do this. I really do believe that you can solve this problem for me. You seem trustworthy. You seem legit. You seem like you have all the things in place that solve this for me. 85% of the sales process is done there. The last 15% is, okay, how do I pay? Okay, right here. You just go right here, put your credit card information in. There you go. You're good. You're done. That's it. And so we get so wrapped up and focused on the sales part of it, when in reality, it's all about the relationship. It's all about building trust. It's all about building rapport. It's all about showing that you are the person that can honestly help them and creating the belief that you can do it. So how do you do this? How do you do it? Well, too many times, we see all these people who are online marketers and they're putting on all this technical stuff with all these wild funnels that like do this, do that, and the leads are going to come in, and all AI now is all part of it, and AI will all do it all for you. Okay. Now AI can be a useful tool, but we have to understand exactly what it is that they're talking about and what they're doing. So we really don't need to make it that complicated. It doesn't need to be the super complex thing. And I've been around a lot of high-end marketers for a lot of years now, and one of the things I notice about them all the time is they tend to overcomplicate everything. Oh, we have this, and if that happens, and it's this, and if that happens, it's that, and this thing looks like a giant spider web by the time they're done. I'm like going, it doesn't need to be that hard. In fact, the process is actually quite simple. You need a lead magnet. A lead magnet to make them aware of who you are and what you can do for them. Now, what is a lead magnet? A lead magnet could be a free training that you do. A lead magnet could be a webinar. A lead magnet could be a downloadable guide, a free ebook. It could be a recorded training. It could be just something of value, a checklist, a tool, a resource, whatever it may be, whatever fits your audience and whatever would be a good thing to start the conversation. What you want to do is you want to put something out there that solves problem one. And what do I mean by that? Problem one, when you're helping people work through something, it's not usually just a one-step solution. If it is, you're solving a very simple problem. What you're usually doing is you're solving a more complex problem, which is why they're willing to pay. If it's a very simple problem, they just fix it themselves. But they're looking to hire you because it's a more complex problem that has multiple steps to it. There's multiple layers of things that you have to go through in order to be able to solve that problem. So what you want to do with your lead magnet is you want to provide something that helps them with the first thing. What is the very first thing that they need to solve? The very first part of the problem. Step one. Okay, here's a great thing. Here's something that'd be really useful and really good for you to learn and to know, and I'll give it to you for free. Because what that does is that gets people to become aware of you. And they get to, and this is why I like doing a free training, doing a free workshop, something like that, a free webinar is so valuable because you're getting people to be introduced to you. You're setting out something of value and people say, all I have to do is put my name and email address and I can learn more about who this person is. I can learn more about what they do. I can learn more about what they're about. So I'm going to get some awareness in it. And then there's the engagement part of it where the training, if you do a live training, it could be valuable. And then not only does it make them aware of you, but they're actually hearing you speak. They're seeing you present. They're hearing you share about your journey, about what it is that you can do for them, how you can help them. And what that also does is it also builds engagement with them. They're like, because they're learning about you. They're learning who you are. They're learning about what you're about. They're learning about all the different things with you. And so you have that. And so you build on that nurturing with them. You build the relationship with them. They are going through all this process with you and they're going, now I'm not only aware of this person, I'm also kind of intrigued and interested in this person because this person is, they may be the one that can help me. They may be the individual that can make a difference for me in my life. So you have that you're building that trust and they're building belief in you. They're building belief that you could be the person that could actually be what I'm looking for. This might be it. This might be the solution that I'm trying to get to. And so you have all that. And then the other way of doing that in your presentation, but also you're then putting out a nurturing email sequence after that training. Do all that. And then at the end, you can make an offer. Okay. Let me put it to you. If you're going to do a coaching program, if you're going to do one-on-one coaching or group coaching or anything like that, here's a very simple way to do it. A very simple way of making this happen. And that is you do a free training. You go out, you promote a free training, you get some people signed up, And so they're becoming aware of who you are. That's the awareness. They're putting their name and email in to register for your training. They're getting, sent a link to join when you go live. They're watching the training, and they listen to you, and they listen to you give a presentation, and they're hearing about they're hearing you teach, they're hearing you share. They're learning like, this person actually knows their stuff. They actually know what they're talking about, and they seem like a good person. They seem like a trustworthy person. They seem like a person that I would actually consider working with, because A, they're competent, A, they're confident, B, C, they seem like a good person. They seem trustworthy. I should really pay attention to them. They could actually probably help me. And then from there, what you do is you offer them the opportunity to have a conversation with you. You say, hey, if you're interested in learning more about what it looks like to work with me, here's an application. It's just a few short questions. Answer those questions, put your information in, submit it. We'll review all these submissions. And when you are, when we're done, if we think that this could potentially be a good fit, we'll reach out to you and just have a simple conversation to see if this might make sense. And then from there, if you get to that point, now after they've talked to you one-on-one, they're really getting confidence that, hey, I feel really good about this. I feel really confident about this. And now it's just a matter of, great, let's get started. It's a very simple process to get people to sign up for a live training, show them your value, invite them to a conversation, show them how to join. It does not need to be complicated. It does not need to have all these layers, all these things integrated into it. It can be straightforward and simple. It just needs to help people walk through the buying process of awareness to engagement to the conversion. That's it. You got to help people walk through that journey, just like buying a car, just like deciding whether or not to rent an apartment. All of those buying decisions follow the same process. They follow the same framework. And you need to create a process that helps walk people through that buying process. Because this is how we buy. This is how we make decisions on whether or not to make a purchase. First, we decide if there's something that we need the thing that we need to buy. Is this something that's valuable? Okay, yes, this is valuable, and it's something that I need to do now. Okay, and now that I know that, I found somebody that potentially could help me. I evaluate whether or not this is a good fit and makes sense, and then from there, I make my buying decision. Make it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, but you got to have these steps in place if you're going to get somebody to the point where they're going to say, yes, you know what? This is the right fit for me. This is the right decision. This is the right person for me to work with. Let's get started. How do I sign up? How much does it cost? Great. And so here's what you're doing. You're just showcasing and understanding that this is how people think. This is human psychology. This is how our minds work in the buying decision. It's not magic. So too many times we think, well, that person is just a natural born sales person. Okay, I will give you that there are people who are naturally gifted at selling, 100%. But salesmanship is a skill. It's something almost anyone can learn to do. You have to just simply learn the framework. You have to learn the simple steps that you have to guide somebody through. And if you get partway through the journey and like, no, this is not for me. Okay, great. Then if it's not a fit, then I would rather find out now than 3 months into our working relationship where we go, yeah, this isn't a good fit. This isn't going to work well. And what you're doing is throughout all of this, you're really showing how you can serve them, how you can help them, what you can solve for them, the problem that you can fix, the solution that you can provide. It's not about selling as much as showing how you can serve them. And for you to serve them, that's the cost. It's, I can do all of these things for you. And if you want me to do that for you, that's great. This is just simply how much it costs for me to do that. That's it. Doesn't need, and then you're not twisting arms, you're not manipulating people, you're just showing here's the value, and you always want to do it in such a way that you're showing them, man, the value that you're giving them is immensely more than what you're charging. The value that you're going to bring into their life is so much higher. They're looking at it going, oh man, if I had this problem solved, that would be amazing. That would just be fantastic. Right now we're in the process. We have a planting bed where we had some pine trees in it, and the pine trees were getting old and they're dying. And so we even got a little notice from our homeowners association. You need to deal with this. You need to get rid of those trees and replant it. And I was just like, oh, going out there, because they're probably, 30-foot plus trees. There's 3 of them out there, and I'm like, great. I got to go out there with my chainsaw. I got to cut them all down. Then I got to get something to grind the stumps, and then I got to go plant new trees. And I'm just like, this is going to suck. This is going to be a lot of work, because I know I've cut down trees before, and unless you have a way of just getting rid of all the stumps and all the branches easily, it's a lot of work to cut everything up into smaller pieces and find good places to dispose of it. And I was not looking forward to this at all. And my landscaping guy came on and said, hey, I can do all that for you. That's no problem. And he'll get it all done real easily. And I'm like, so you'll take care of it all. You'll take down all the trees. You'll grind all the stumps. You'll put all the, you'll go out and find the new trees and buy what we want, bring it over and plant it all for us. Yep, I can do all of that. Okay, done. Because and it wasn't cheap, but the reality is I don't have to deal with it. It's a problem and a headache that I don't have to be out there spending, multiple days by myself, because he comes out with 2 to 3 guys and has it done very quickly. I don't have to spend all this time running around by myself trying to deal with all these things, all the hours and days of sweating and hard yuck, work trying to deal with this. He just took away the problem and provided a simple solution. I can do it all for you. And this is just how much it is. Same process every single time we make a buying decision. We have to acknowledge that's how our brains work. That's how we as human beings think through our buying decisions. So our sales and our marketing funnels need to reflect that. They need to match how our customers make buying decisions, how they think, what is important to them, what are the objections that they would have, what are the questions that they would have. And we need to build that into our presentations. And we need to be able to do these things in such a way that we're answering the questions, that we're overcoming objections, and that we're positioning ourselves as the solution. Like, look, I can do this for you, and this is how it works. And it's quite simple. If you would like to sign up, here it is. And then they go, wow, that's amazing. That makes my life 100 times easier. And it's just that much money? Yes, it is. Great. How do I sign up? Let's do this. This is exciting. I want to get this done. I want to do that. And it works perfectly. Now, the key to all this is, in so many ways, how do you do it? How do you put a presentation together that really strikes that chord? How do you put a presentation that answers the right questions, that leads people through the right process? And that's a lot of the journey. So just going to make the offer to you, if you're interested, inside Design Launch Grow, we have all sorts of training. We have all sorts of coaching support. I've done these many times now. I know exactly how to structure them. We can help you. We can show you exactly how to do this. We can show you how to create a presentation, how to put things together in such a way that you can get people signing up to inquire about working with you one after another. And to be able to do this in such a way that you can just start developing a pipeline of interested people who then have engagement with you, and then some of them start to become clients. It doesn't need to be complicated. We can all help you out with all of it. We show you exactly how to do it. So if you would like us to help you and like us to show you the process, all you need to do is go to designlaunchgrow.com, fill out the application, and we will be happy to get on a conversation with you and talk with you about how we can make this happen for you. Otherwise, I hope you found this valuable. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again very soon.